Hello and welcome to Think Watercolour. Today's demonstration is another three colour painting to show what you can achieve with just a few colours. As I've said previously, I can't overemphasise the importance of getting to know the colours in your palette and how they react and work with each other. This simple subject of three onions was produced using just Aureolin, burnt sienna and ultramarine blue. So let's get started. The paper I'm using is 300g Saunders Waterford rough, starting with an overall wash of Aureolin over all three onions and just lifting out a little bit of highlights there. I'm slowly adding amounts of burnt sienna to the Aureolin mix, just to gradually build up the first wash of the lightest areas. Just developing the shapes wet in wet. Just adding a little bit more burnt sienna as I go along, just to darken a few areas. Again, this is all wet in wet. The paint's still nice and damp. I've let that dry and now I'm adding a much darker mix of burnt sienna to clearly define the shape of each onion, starting with the left-hand onion. Gradually getting darker and darker, still wet in wet, just creating those shadow areas and developing the shape of the onion. Just added a touch of ultramarine blue to the mix, just to darken the shadow area where the two onions are together. And I've let that first onion dry so that I don't get any bleeding between the two onions, the middle onion and the left onion. Same process, starting with burnt sienna, gradually adding darker areas with some ultramarine. Not too much, just enough to darken the colour, to strengthen the shadow areas. The middle onion's got a torn bit of skin showing, so I'm just gradually building up to work around that and define it more clearly. Again, more ultramarine in the mix for those dark shadows. Just following the contour of each onion. For this, for the very dark parts of the onion where the root is, this is a strong mix of burnt sienna and ultramarine. Again, same process on the third onion. Again, all wet in wet, keeping the paint fluid. Just trying to make sure I keep the highlights nice and bright. Just painting in a few of the lines of the onion. You don't have to paint them all, just suggest it and the eye will do the rest. This is more ultramarine and burnt sienna mix, fairly weak. Just adding the shadows under each onion with that ultramarine and burnt sienna strong mix, and with some clean water, just softening the edges. A few final touches with some white gouache, dampening it out to flatten it a little bit. Just a few highlights, nothing too much, just to define the onions more clearly, and I think I'm done. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this video useful. Please give it a like if you did so, and do subscribe and hit the notification bell if you're new to the channel. And thanks again for watching.